Welcome to your virtual lecture with Access Group Training for Activity 3 of Manage Budgets and Financial Plans. The first assessment question is, what is the importance of a cash flow budget or report? Think about your own personal financial situation. Is it important to know whether you are spending more than you are earning? What would you do if you spent all your cash and couldn't pay your bills? Sometimes it's a matter of timing, and you know that you will have the money to pay the bills the following week or when you next get paid. The same applies in business. At times, the business will have bills to pay and they may not have the cash to pay them for various reasons. One of those reasons could be because customers have not paid their accounts, so the inflow of cash isn't where the business expected it to be. The first half of Part 3 of the e-learning guide explains cash flow budgets and why they are important in business. Question 2 for Activity 3. What data do you need to collect and from whom in order to construct a cash flow budget? Again, thinking about your own financial situation, what sort of information do you need to know how much cash you need? What about things like car registration or your electricity bill? These expenses happen at certain times of the year, but not every week. If you get paid weekly or even fortnightly, it's wise to put some money aside from each pay so you can cover these expenses when they come up. As well as knowing when these bills will fall due for payment, you also have to be able to estimate how much they might be. The most accurate way to do this is to look at the previous year's registration, for example, in relation to your motor vehicle. If you still have the same vehicle, you can probably expect that it will be a similar price this year or maybe a little more. However, if you have a different car, the registration might be quite different to the previous year. All of this information will allow you to predict what your expenses will be. So, applying this train of thought to business, think about what information you might be able to rely on to be able to prepare a cash flow budget. If you are in the business of sales, for example, what records or data would be useful in preparing the budget? In the first few pages of Part 3 of the e-learning guide, you will find some information that will assist you to answer this question. Question 3 for Activity 3. Describe how the budget is used to monitor work, performance, variation, and team or division outputs. As you have learned, the budget is a plan prepared at the beginning of a particular period, say 6 months. However, the budget alone does not give an indication of how the business actually performed over those 6 months. The budget, if not prepared carefully and with enough research to accurately anticipate both the income and expenses, will not help the owners or managers of a business understand whether the business is operating successfully. In the second half of Part 3 of the e-learning guide, you will learn about the types of things that you need to know to use the budget as a monitoring tool. Question 4 for Activity 3. Why do you think it is necessary to report on these things? If you don't take the necessary action to monitor work, performance, variation and outputs, how will you go about developing the budget for the next period? Think about how the results of monitoring might be used by those running the business. Again, the second half of Part 3 of the e-learning guide will help you to understand why reporting is so important. Whether you are a small business, working for yourself, or have a number of divisions and employees, budgeting is critical. Businesses who do not give budgeting and reporting the attention it deserves will have a limited lifespan. As well as the information provided in your e-learning guide and your textbook, try to talk to someone you know who either runs or works in a business and see how they approach their budgeting and reporting. This will give you a greater understanding of this topic.